Getting a thriller, heart goes pum pum pum. Ghostly figures, they can get so bitter. Show you want to until you can turn back. You don't know where I've been, what's going.
Oh, look, he is here. Decided to show up. Thank you, Noah, for turning up. Did you do the Roto World show this morning? I couldn't find it.
Yep. So it's not live on Twitter anymore. It's only live on YouTube. And Twitch. I think Twitch as well. I don't know.
Okay, that's advanced.
Oh.
Welcome.
I just answered the questions.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to Stuff It. We are here to take your mailbag Q&A questions. I don't know what we're calling it nowadays. Brought to you, as always, by FanDuel, part of the Old Man Squad, part of the Believe Network. Got some questions coming in already. I have no idea. I usually watch your show just to get an idea of what people are talking about, what the questions are, so I can put it in the show title. Mm-hmm. I figure we're going to get something about the Hawks. Did you get many Trae Young Atlanta Hawks related questions?
Yeah, there was. I'm trying to think anything else specific where it was like asking about other than like what do we stash people for Trae Young trades. There's always a couple like Jakob Poeltl questions. What do we do with the Raptors guys? At the same time, like same thing every week. It's like, gosh, I mean, hard to say.
All right.
We did get a would you trade Kevin Porter Jr. for Ja Morant trade? Like, what's that look like?
Okay.
Trying to remember anything else specific, but nothing where it was like we were asked about the same player 5 times. So
right. Okay. Oh, well, that's possibly a good thing. I mean, it does make our job easier when all the questions are about one player. But let's see. Let's start with Tony's question. Drew Holiday for DeAndre Ayton. Who would you prefer there? 10-team, 9-cat. Very different players. So probably a little bit of what stats do you need? Guard stats, big stats. I think it's probably a fair try. Obviously, you're taking a hit with Drew out at the moment. So I don't know who you have here and who you're looking to, whether you're acquiring Ayton or whether you're acquiring Drew Holiday. I'm not the highest on Ayton. It's pretty close for me, actually. Do you have a clear winner in this one?
There's just too many factors, I think. I think the fact that Drew Holiday is out, like, do you need the production now or can you wait a little bit? And what categories do you need? Because they're providing different categories. I think in a vacuum, I would prefer Drew Holiday, but there's a couple other factors that I think could impact your decision.
I think Ayton's probably a little bit safer just because of he plays for the Lakers. We know that what their sort of direction is this season. But Drew probably has the higher per game upside. So a little bit riskier, but probably a bit more benefit there if he comes off, I suppose. All right. Chad, good morning. Is DiVincenzo suddenly turning into a drop? That shot is all sorts of broken at the moment. I don't think so. I mean, what are your thoughts on DiVincenzo? I mean, players go through slumps. I certainly wouldn't be dropping a starting point guard on a contending team.
No, it's been a rough few games, but he's a high-level shooter, and I expect that he can figure things out. So, yeah, no, I don't think he's a drop.
Yep. Okay. Here is that question.
I think this is the question. I think this is it.
It probably is, yes. Kevin, and what was your answer? Has your answer changed in the last hour? Kevin Porter Jr. for Ja Morant.
Gosh, that would be hilarious if I think I answered this question like 15 minutes ago. If I just gave like a totally different answer right now.
Yeah.
No, I would want, like, regardless of what size you're on, if you have Kevin Porter Jr., I would not be trading him for Ja Morant. If you have Ja Morant, I understand being a little bit hesitant based on name value, but I would still probably trade Ja for Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah, I think I agree. Too many risks attached to Ja Morant. I know Kevin Porter missed time with an injury, but that was And it was a bit of a freaky thing.
And he's been healthy since.
He has, and we know exactly what his flaws are. We know that percentages can be an issue, but other than that, I mean, he gets counting stats, he scores. Ja Morant seems to be getting a new injury every second game, so I'd go with Kevin Porter there. All right, thoughts on Trae Young rumors to Washington? I mean, I'll preface this. Like I said, I was assuming we'd get some Hawk-related questions. I'm not really doing anything at this point with any of the Hawks guys, anyone on Washington. Yes, it does sound like he's going to be traded, but we have no idea where he's going or who's coming back or if he stays, if there's 3 teams involved. Like, there's too many moving pieces here at this stage to actually be dropping anyone, adding anyone speculatively. So, I mean, if I was Trae Young, I wouldn't want to go to Washington. But from a fantasy perspective, I guess if he was there, he is going to be option number 1.
Yeah. Was talking about this with Raf on our Q&A, the Roto World Q&A. The Washington landing spot is interesting because I think the reported deal would look something like CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert and maybe a pick. But there's also reports that the Hawks would have to attach a draft pick to move him, which I don't really buy. But that doesn't really clear out a ton of minutes in Washington, so it doesn't really impact too much. And the Hawks, I don't think it impacts too much bringing in CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert to where you're like really dramatically impacted in fantasy. But I don't think it makes a ton of sense for Washington in the sense that if they're trying to get a top pick, trading for Trae Young right now is probably going to hurt that. Like, he's not going to make him a playoff team, but if he's playing, he's going to be able to win them enough games that it's going to hurt their lottery odds a little bit. Yeah. So I don't think it, but I think what I was throwing out to Raph was it could look like what we saw with Toronto last year, where they traded for Brandon Ingram. He didn't play the rest of the season. And then they had a higher lottery pick and him healthy to start the next season. Washington does that and lucks out in the lottery. We could look at a lineup of like Trae Young, Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, maybe if they're really lucky, like Cam Boozer and Alex Sarr. Then you're like, okay, this is a very, very young team with Trae Young under contract for only 1 season. Maybe they can make a push to the postseason, get some of those experience for some of those guys, develop, makes sense. But it seems like Trae Young wants to get paid. The Hawks don't want to give him a big long-term contract, and that's kind of the disconnect there, less so than the Hawks. Oh, the Hawks are just so good without him because, frankly, they're a very average team without him. Not saying that they're a great team with him. But I don't think this is like the Hawks are throwing him in the trash. I think they're just trying to make the best decision for the franchise. So,
yeah, I think so. And I mean, I was sort of thinking about this last night, and I guess trying to picture in my mind the conversations that have been had. Like, because the language we're hearing is that it's as positive as it can be. Both teams are sort of agreed on this decision moving forward, and they want to find the best landing spot for him and that sort of thing. And this is potentially just a situation where Atlanta have reached that point where they don't think he's the best fit for the direction they want to go in. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's been really good. Jalen Johnson is ascending rapidly. They've got Dyson Daniels there now. And Trae Young just doesn't fit what they want to do. So I don't think this obviously has nothing to do with Trae Young not being a good player. He's not the right fit, square peg in a round hole kind of situation. So he'll find a landing spot, whether that's Washington or somewhere else. We'll obviously hear more over the next 4 weeks. All right, Andy Cruz. Should I stick with Trae Jones or drop him for Io DeSunmu or Devin Vassell in a games cap points league? I'd be holding Trae Jones, I think, of those 3.
Yeah, which stinks. I've been very high and still am very high on Devin Vassell, but I don't think that the situation is optimal for him. I think maybe I would rather have DeSunmu, but that's I've been kind of maybe more so in a points league as well than a categories league.
Points league, maybe. Yeah, I just was sort of doing that in my head. Maybe in a points league, I assume he just does a bit more across the board. Trae Young's category league is good because he gets assists, he gets steals. And I do think Vassell is, I guess if we're thinking long term, possibly Vassell, only because his role is pretty set. He'll start, he'll play 30 minutes. Trae Jones, Ayo Dosunmu are reliant on injuries to other players. But in saying that, Vassell, what we've seen with the Spurs healthy, his usage, his numbers are not what they were to start the season. Would we do Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Zach Edey for Miles Turner and Kevin Porter Jr.? Who would we rather there? Initially, my gut is I would prefer the Edey side, but I'm just the Edey injury concerns me. That there's risk. I just think stress injury in a foot, big man. We've seen this in the past, cost players entire seasons. I'm not saying that'll be the case for Edey, but it worries me. Turner's been absolutely terrible. I'd rather Kevin Porter Jr. over Nickeil Alexander-Walker, though. I might still go Alexander-Walker, Edey.
I think it depends on, because like Kevin Porter Jr. is the best player in this trade, I think. But I think if Edey were healthy right now, I prefer that side. But I'm not confident that he's going to be back as soon as the initial timeline. So maybe I could look at this and take my cop-out answer of where are you in your standings? Can you afford to be patient for Edey to come back, or do you really need the production right now?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's fair. I think if you need production now, you have to go Turner and Kevin Porter Jr. But if you're first, if you're second, fairly good squad, and you can absorb the missed time for Edey, then maybe go that way. Cornet or Colin Murray-Boyles? I knew we'd probably get a Colin Murray-Boyles question after yesterday.
Yep.
I'd go Colin Murray-Boyles, I think.
Yep, I agree.
Assuming Wemby's healthy.
Yeah. He's questionable for tonight, so
yeah.
Even if it's one more game, I would rather have Colin Murray-Boyles.
Yep. Is Dyson Daniels worth trading for, and what to give up for him? He's always worth trading for. Wrong people to ask. I guess, though, if we're thinking in relation to the Trae Young news, do we target Dyson Daniels? Nothing really has changed for me. I mean, we've seen Dyson has played really well, except for yesterday. He was terrible yesterday. But prior to that, he'd been playing well. The whole Trae Young situation doesn't really affect or sort of impact what I think about Dyson Daniels. So if you want to trade for him, it's the same situation. You're trading for him because you need steals, some assists, a good rebounder for a guard. That whether Trae's there or not, he's going to get those stats. So what would I give up for him? I don't know. I probably view him as sort of a top 50, top 60 player. If we're just talking pure rank, that's what I'd be looking to give up.
It may depend to me on what categories you're needing. If you really need the steals and the rebounds, the assists, then I think top 50 to 60. I think if your team isn't built for that, you really would need threes, or you can't deal with, not that he's shooting a ton of free throws, but bad free throw shooting, then you're probably not looking to trade for him anyway. So I think top 50 to 60 is probably fair.
Okay. Here's a long one from Nacho something. The guy in first wants my Steph and Trey Murphy for his Shea. So you'd be getting Shea. I would punt threes if I did, and play for free throws, free throw percentage, field goal percentage, rebounds, steals, blocks, turnovers, points. Our points would be a swing category. Do I do it? Here is the team. So moving Steph and Trey Murphy, getting Shea. You have Curry, Booker, Reed, AJ Mitchell, Trey Murphy, Mikal Bridges, OG, Buzelis, Clowney, Wemby, Edie, Bam. So moving Steph and Trey. I do that.
Yeah, that's genuinely very surprising that the team in first wants to move SGA. And if you're about to get Wemby back, yeah, I think that's a really good trade. Like I get wanting Curry and Trey Murphy, but it just doesn't make sense to me why they'd want to trade SGA. I would take advantage of that. And
I think so for sure. I mean, having Wemby and Shea on your team for starters is all you really need is a good supporting cast there, and you've got Devin Booker, who's playing very well, Mikal Bridges, OG, Buzelis, whose upside is nice, Zach Edey coming back, Bam, who's about as solid as you'll find. Yeah, I think you have to do that.
Clowney should be really good to finish the season too. So
yeah. Do we think DeJounte Murray will ever come back this season? I don't know. I think he comes back at some point, but I don't. I'm not actively going out stashing him or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I think he probably plays at some point, but yeah, he won't play back-to-backs. He'll be managed. So answer is yes, but I'm not expecting massive things from him.
James Borrego, I don't remember if this was yesterday or the day before, but they were asking about him. They said, yeah, he's progressing well. They're hoping for more clarity in the next month. So after, like that lines up with the trade deadline. So I'm assuming after the trade deadline that they have more clarity. And I think that they're probably also going to take that next month to evaluate where they are in the standings. Like if they're able to get a little closer to the postseason, because right now their record's terrible, but they're 8 games out. So if they make up some ground, they're like, hey, maybe it would make sense for us to bring DeJounte Murray back. Then maybe he does in a limited capacity, not playing back-to-backs. But genuinely, I think that if he plays this season, it's no back-to-backs. I'm not even like 20, like 15 minutes per game just to like get him comfortable playing with some of these younger players. Like there's just no, like they don't have their own first, but there's also no reason to like push him to play more than what his body's ready for or like risk anything when they can just say, hey, just rest more and we can try and be good next year. And that's okay. So.
And they may even look to trade him. We don't know. I mean, there was chatter coming into the season that he didn't really want to be there. So haven't heard much lately, but you never know. They may go down that path. What are our thoughts on Tari Eason rest of season? Value in a points league, or on his role? Yeah, look, his role has somewhat surprised me since he came back from injury. He's playing fairly consistent minutes, and that's always been the issue for Tari Eason. So I think based on what we've seen, what he's been doing in the last couple of weeks is probably sustainable. Obviously, Şengün has been out. That helps. He has more value in a category league than a points league, but I still think that he has to be rostered in a points league.
Yeah, especially now that like he's starting. I think he's productive enough and has been good enough offensively as a rebounder that he is worth rostering. As long as he continues to start. And obviously the defensive production is what we really, really enjoy out of him. They're also, sorry to interrupt. They just, maybe we can get, it's not huge news, but Keegan Murray's going to miss the next 3 to 4 weeks with a left ankle sprain. Does that alter anything? Like maybe that's my question for our Q&A. What do we do about Keegan Murray being out 3 to 4 weeks?
Yeah, he's been injured a lot, hasn't he, this season? I guess the question, do we hold Keegan Murray? Well, 4 weeks takes us through to trade deadline. We'll see a lot of injury timelines now starting to line up with that trade deadline. Teams do it every year. So people get an injury and what might be a 10-day injury will turn into a 2-week, 3-week injury because they'll extend it through to the All-Star break to give them additional time. I don't think you have to hold Keegan Murray. If you need production now, I'd be okay moving on from him. Someone will probably pick him up and stash him, but we've seen this season his upside's decent, but he certainly has had some low moments as well. So I don't think you have to hold him if you just need to get numbers on the board now.
Yeah, I agree. He had the really good games at the beginning, and then it's been kind of I'm not. If it was a different team where Zach Levine will probably move back to the starting lineup. Maybe Nate Clifford.
Nate Clifford for me would be the interesting one because I think we've seen he's had a few moments over the last 2 to 3 weeks. He's had some really bad games as well, but common sense would say that they're going to prioritize him at some point, and maybe that point is going to come a bit earlier now that there's no Keegan Murray.
The only issue with that is the statement of common sense would suggest that, and there's nothing to suggest that the Kings have that when making their rotation decisions.
No, there is not. All right, Dayron Sharp. Is he a good grab, or will he vanish once Claxton is back? Sadly, once Claxton is back, he won't vanish, but he won't. We know exactly what his role will be. He'll play 16, 17 minutes off the bench. He'll be a good per minute guy, but he won't do enough to be rostered in 12-team leagues. In a keeper league, possibly, but we seem to be waiting for this breakout every season. So I could see in a keeper league that you might want to hold on to him just in case Claxton gets injured or moved or something next season. But as for this season, as long as Claxton's healthy, I don't think Sharp is someone we have to roster.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just dependent on Claxton being, which that could lead to some late season stretches for Dayron Sharp. But
yeah, and Claxton will be back whenever they play next. I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So then
he's been upgraded to probable. It was a personal injury, a personal issue. I don't know what it was, but going from out to probable when it's a personal issue generally means that you'll be back the next game and playing full minutes. So what are the long-term outlooks of Derek Queen and Colin Murray-Boyles? Who's a better fantasy and real player? A bit of a dynasty-related question here. I mean, they're both intriguing. Do you have a good read on this? You obviously know a little bit more in terms of coming into the league. What does their skill set look like? What is their upside? Who would you prefer in a dynasty league here?
So preseason, like just coming into the year, I had Colin Murray-Boyles ranked higher. Now I have Queen 58 and Colin Murray-Boyles 96. And I don't know if you had seen me, Zach from Dizzle Dynasty, Jason, and Rhett Bauer all have Dynasty rankings over on Dynatize. I don't know if you saw that at all. New site. Check it out. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
The range for Colin Murray-Boyles between the four of us, Jason has him the highest at 91 and Dizzle Dynasty has him the lowest at 120. But for Derek Queen, I'm highest at 58. Jason's lowest at 68. So I would definitely be looking at valuing Derek Queen higher in Dynasty Leagues, though I'm fairly certain Matt Lawson has Colin Murray-Boyles higher than the rest of us do, and he's been very high on him for a while. Hold both in very high regard. As far as who's a better real-life player, that's very up in the air because they have different strengths. They're in different situations, have gotten different opportunities. So hard to say right now. But I'd say for fantasy, I would value Queen higher in Dynasty Leagues and rest of the season.
Okay, Games Cap Points League trade. Someone did Wemby and DeMar DeRozan for Denny Avdia, Jalen Duren, and Amen Thompson in a points league. Who wins that trade?
games cap, I want to say whoever got Wemby.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's probably the Wemby one. In a points league, though, it's definitely closer than in a category league. But yeah, I think it's still the Wemby side in a points league. Depends as well. Is this a 10-team league or a 12 or a 14? Because waiver wires are obviously better in a 10-team league. So, but yeah, I think I'd go Wemby there. Would we trade Keyshawn George and Porzingis for Austin Reeves in a points league?
I would. Just because, I mean, if you can afford to wait for Reeves to get healthy, I just think he's the best player in the deal. Porzingis has been in and out of the lineup. I would rather get Austin Reeves.
Yeah, I think getting off Porzingis is a good idea. As much as I love Keyshawn George, Austin Reeves has looked really good. But yeah, you've obviously got to deal with a few weeks of no Austin Reeves. Aaron Gordon or Khalil Ware in a 12-team 9-cat league? I'll go Khalil Ware.
Yeah, I think I'll go Ware as well. Actually, oh goodness, Aaron Gordon was really good at the beginning of the season, and Ware's been kind of inconsistent. I think I'll go Aaron. I'm gonna go Aaron Gordon, but I feel like it's very close. But I think especially if now that he's back and if Jokic is missing some time, I think I'd like to see what he can do with Jokic out and enjoy that. And then he'll still be a starter after that, whereas Ware's role's been a little bit inconsistent. So,
yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So we didn't really help you with that one. We each had our own opinion, but they're both obviously must roster players. And
just go with who you like more.
Yeah.
Near Kingy.
That's right. I'm taller. Go with me. Are we worried about Kaysen, Wallace, and Asar about their minutes in the 4-punt build? Fair question, Hinny Minnie. I have been pondering this exact question on a lot of my teams.
12 leagues?
12 leagues. I guess short answer is Asar Thompson, I haven't even considered moving off him yet, just because I know the minutes yesterday were down, but he is still starting. Yesterday was a blowout, so he just didn't come on towards the end of the game. I reckon he would have been around the 20. I think we need to assume now that Asar is a 25-minute a night player. I think that's just where he's going to be rest of season. But in 25 minutes, he can still get you good rebounds, good defensive numbers. He can be efficient. So Asar is a hold. Kaysen Wallace, on the other hand, I don't mind moving off him. I have dropped him in a couple of leagues. He's been really bad. I think he will be better, but he is a one-category guy. In this build, he is steals and steals alone. Asar Thompson holds value in other categories. So Kaysen, yes, I'm okay. And I've found like there's guys sitting on the waiver wire. I've picked up DeAnthony Melton. I've picked up Drew Smith, players like that are actually getting steals and playing some minutes. Bruce Brown, Spencer Jones. So I think there's guys floating around on and off waiver wires that can almost fill what Kaysen is doing. But as for Asar, I would be holding him. Is Julian Champagny must roster as long as Vassell is on the shelf? He's pretty close. I've seen him... I feel like I've seen him on a couple of waiver wires and I haven't added him just because he doesn't fit my build. But I am surprised whenever I see him on a waiver wire. So to me, that would say that, yes, he probably should be rostered at the moment.
Yeah, I think he must roster feels a little bit strong, but I think definitely like you should strongly consider rostering Julian Champagny.
Yeah. I think he's one of those players, like I've sort of alluded to there, that, yes, maybe not must roster, but there's probably one team in your league that should be rostering him. Like, he should be on our roster somewhere. It might not be yours, but I think he is doing enough to have earned a spot somewhere in a 12-team league. Okay, who do I pick up? Who do I pick up to open my IL spot? Who do I pick up? Oh, so okay. So you've got an open IL spot, and you want to know who you should pick up to throw into that IL spot. Herb Jones. Well, Herb Jones is questionable for tonight, so he might only be in your IL spot for a couple of hours. Tobias Harris, Scoot, Ace Bailey, Ty Jerome, Cam Johnson, or Mo Wagner. I don't know if I'd target any of those guys to fill my IL spot. Yeah, I mean, I grab, like, if Herb Jones is available, and you need steals, pick him up because he could play tonight. But beyond that, I don't know. Do you have a clear player? No one really jumps off the page here for me.
I'd say Scooter Ace, just for the upside there. Like, Ace Bailey should be back pretty soon, and he's starting and should be really good down the stretch. Scoot, we haven't seen him this season. I'm curious about what he could look like when he does finally get healthy, so I'm fine to just leave him in an IL spot until he's back and then maybe reap some benefits, or maybe just drop him pretty shortly after. I don't know.
Okay, Keontae George and Norm Powell for Kawhi and Ryan Rollins. Who would you rather there? I mean, the easy answer is Kawhi, just because he is clearly the best player in this four. He's been pretty healthy. That would be the only, I guess, I don't know, swing point here is, are you confident Kawhi can stay healthy? If you are, then go Kawhi. And I do think Norm Powell he's obviously been really good, but Tyler Hero is back tonight, I think. So we'll get a bit of a look at what Norm Powell looks like alongside him. We haven't really had a good look thus far. So I'd go Kawhi and Rollins if you can afford to take the risk. If not, then I think Keontae George and Norm Powell are relatively safe.
Yeah, I think I would prefer the Kawhi and Ryan Rollins. I don't. Just Kawhi's just been so good, and I'm just wanting to roll with that. And I really like what Ryan Rollins has done. Hero being back and Keontae George, I just would rather have Kawhi, who's been, I mean, he's now number 2 in per game value this season in 9-cat leagues. So I would rather have that. And of course, like, anyone can get hurt any night, but if Kawhi gets hurt, everyone's going to say, oh, well, everyone should have known that because it's Kawhi, but like, yeah.
Pirtle is available. I want to pick him up, but I'm not sure. Would we take the risk? I'd have to drop someone useful like Keegan Murray, Eason, Landale, or Clowney. I wouldn't be dropping Eason for him. We talked about Keegan Murray earlier. That's dropping one injured player for another injured player. Landale's value has been fine, but again, it depends on whether Edie comes back. Clowney has been a bit up and down. He was really good in the last game. I don't know. Are we prioritizing Pirtle? I'm not convinced he'll be healthy all season. I'd be okay dropping Keegan Murray and just picking up Pirtle. Like, I think Pirtle will be back before Keegan Murray, so at least you'd get some production in the next month.
Yeah, I think depends on if you can afford to wait for Keegan Murray, but I think I'd probably drop Landale to get Pirtle. I do think that you should pick up Pirtle, and he's had a couple good games recently, but it's kind of coming consistently. I wouldn't be dropping Tari or Clowney, and Keegan just depends on if you can wait for him to get healthy.
TJ McConnell, will he foreseeably average minutes in the low to mid 20s? Oh, that's his absolute ceiling. Has he exceeded 20 minutes a lot this season? I feel like
that's what I was about to check. He hovers right around 16 or 17 like every single game. So last game he played 21.
Okay. He's had a couple of 20-minute. Yeah, look, I think best case scenario for him is 22 to 24.
Yep.
Usually, but yeah, typically he is in the sort of high teens to low 20s, I think. All right. Who are we streaming tonight in a points league? Bilal Coulibaly, Jalen Wells, or Brandon Williams? Who do they play? I haven't even looked to team. I know there's not many games tonight. 6. Okay.
Washington plays Orlando, Memphis plays San Antonio, and Dallas plays Sacramento. So I might go Brandon Williams.
Brandon Williams, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Wells has been pretty average the last 2 weeks. Coulibaly's sort of, yeah. I mean, I think, well, the answer could if Coulibaly has one of his breakout games that he has randomly, then I think he has the highest upside. But yeah, maybe it's Brandon Williams against Sacramento.
Yeah, I think that would be points league. He's been really good as a scorer lately. So,
yeah, let's go with him then. Sure. What do we think about Cater's minutes? Will they go up? I don't think so. I think he's been at around 25 minutes all season, and I think that Luka Garza has looked better. So no, I don't think. I think his minutes will, like, he's not pushing up to be a 30-minute a night guy. But he's been fine. If you've been happy with what he's done so far, I don't think anything changes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't really see why his minutes would be leaping up. It's been pretty consistent.
Eason or Reed Shepherd, 9 cat head to head. I think I'd probably go Eason just because of his starting and his minutes seem a little bit more secure. Reed Shepherd probably has the higher upside slightly, but his minutes are all over the place. So I think I'd go Eason as slightly safer.
I'd go Eason because he's starting. That would be my logic.
Is Murray Boyles a better fit with the Raptors than Mamu? Will he keep this up when Pirtle is back? Look, I think he's a better fit in certain matchups, and we've seen this over the last week. Mamu has started. I think he started one game. He came off the bench for 2 games. So I think it really just depends on who they're playing. Once Pirtle is back, I think both of them will be more like stream level players than have to roster now, assuming Pirtle comes back and gets healthy and plays. But yeah, I think I'm not going to say he's a better fit. He's a better fit in certain matchups, but not just generally speaking. So I think we'll see them continue to chop and change.
That's a good way to put it. And then as far as will they keep it up when Pirtle's back? Maybe at first, but I'm overly optimistic and I shouldn't be, but I think that Pirtle's going to take a few games to ramp up and then he'll be really good as he's been in the past. So,
yep. Would we drop Keyshawn in a 14-team league? I feel he's too valuable, but I hate the no timetable comment. I wouldn't be dropping him if you at all can avoid it. Look, there's no timetable, but that doesn't mean that we're looking at weeks or anything here. It's a hip flexor, I think he's dealing with. So it's Washington. There's obviously no need to rush him back. But I don't feel like we're looking at I think he'll be back before the All-Star break. Maybe I'm too optimistic there, but in a 14-team league, I'd be holding him if you can.
Yeah, I agreed. The no timetable comment, it really kind of depends on team. Because who was it? Somebody just a couple weeks ago said oh no, we don't have a timeline for this player's return, and they came back 2 games later. I forgot who that was, but does that mean that sometimes just means we have no idea? Sometimes it means basically months, but I don't remember any indicator from Washington specifically that would make, or like I guess data point from Washington specifically that would make me lean one way or the other. But hopefully it's not too long.
Should we drop Christian Brown for Trae Jones? For the next couple of weeks, I'd be okay with that. Long term, unclear at this point, but yeah, I think for the next 2 weeks, and Brown is. So I actually did notice that Brown is. Oh, here we go. Yucca Pirtle is expected to return Friday, or one of the two back-to-backs, Sunday, Monday. So there you go. So Pirtle is maybe 1 or 2 games away from returning. Yeah, I did notice that Christian Brown is listed as questionable for Wednesday's game with an ankle sprain. But I think that'd just be his injury management. I think that's...
Yeah, teams just listed differently.
Yeah, okay. So that's... So look, I'd be okay with Trae Jones for the next 2 weeks. Assuming if both teams are fully healthy, I'd go Christian Brown because he will play more minutes, generally speaking.
Yeah, I agree with that. The short-term answer, Trae Jones. Long-term, Christian Brown.
We had a DeJounte question earlier. Any chance he comes back this month? I would say, there's always a chance. I doubt it.
Like 1 in a million. So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah.
Like that? Yeah. But sorry that you've been stashing him all season. I'm just not super optimistic there.
Okay. Between these players, which 3 would we hold? Cason Wallace, Asar Thompson, Jalen Tyson, D'Anthony Melton, Paul Reed, and Justin Champagny. Reed is only a 1-week stream. Like I said, I think Asar is a hold, but it does depend on your build. I'd probably be holding Jalen Tyson. Paul Reed, you're right. He is only a stream, but we don't know how long Duran is out here. So he's a hold for now. I'll go Asar, Tyson, and Reed right now. Like today, if we're saying which 3 players should you hold on this list, they're the 3 that I would go with.
I think I'd go Cason, Asar, Jalen Tyson. I know Cason got moved to the bench and he hasn't been great. I just believe in him going back in the starting lineup more so than I believe in Paul Reed being worth streaming as a starter. Like, he's been okay as a starter in 2 games. Champagny has some intriguing upside, but
is that the Washington Champagny? I always
get it. Justin is the Washington Champagny, so it's not the 11 3-pointer Champagny. It's the other Champagny.
Yeah.
So I'll go. I feel Cason, Asar, and Tyson are probably the 3 safest.
Okay. And Max Strus is reevaluated another 4 weeks. So if you're sort of worried about him coming back, he's not coming back anytime soon. So I'm super annoyed with Keyshawn George and Hartenstein. Are they droppable in 10 and 12 team leagues? 12 team, no. 10 team, I'd still say no.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you just gotta be a little patient. Yeah, it is probably a little frustrating, but they're too good to just drop.
Trae. Will Trae have playing time if he ends up going to the Wizards, or would I look to trade? I look, if it helps, I have Trae Young in a couple of teams and I'm not moving off him. I'm just going to wait and see. And we said at the top of the show here, I think I'm not doing anything based on this initial news that Trae Young is going to be traded because there's too many moving pieces. So I would just hold him and evaluate when we know more.
Yeah, I don't really see a reason to look to trade him because I assume that if he does get traded, he is going to be a starter, unless it is a scenario which I just have no reason to believe, other than I'm throwing it out there, that Washington could trade for him and not play him the rest of the season. Don't really see him wanting to do that. Don't really see that happening, but would make sense. So I assume that he'll be playing and starting and being a good fantasy player. So unless you're able to get really good value for him for someone that maybe wants to buy low.
Yeah. All right. We still got sort of 15 minutes. Do I drop Draymond Green for Zach Edey? Is that a good move? On the surface, yes. I would absolutely have Zach Edey over Draymond Green. But as we've talked about, you're taking a risk there with Edey because we don't know when he's coming back. We don't know if he'll be limited. We just have no idea what this injury is going to look like in a month. So if you can afford to take that risk, then yes, I would go with Edey. But if you just need someone who's out there getting tech fouls and annoying his head coach, then keep Draymond.
Yeah, can you afford to wait on Edey to get healthy? That'd be my question mark, because I'd rather have Edey.
But okay, here's a long one from Chad for you, because it's a dynasty question. And he's in a 30-team dynasty with you, Noah. So I don't know if you want to provide him with the correct advice here, or
trade me your good players, Chad. That seems like a really good strategy.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I was an elite team in 24-25, but struggled out of the gate this season, mainly due to center issues, in large part due to trading for Kessler and then Sabonis. But I'm trending up. Issue is, while I'm creeping back into contention, I have Hart, OG, and Bridges, which hinders me from winning big some weeks when Knicks play. Should I break it up? And if so, which of the three to trade? So Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Bridges. I don't know which Bridges that is.
I can check.
You can check.
Let me pull up his roster.
Send out a trade offer. You know who he wants to move.
Let's see. Mikal Bridges. That's right, because he has all the Knicks on his team.
Okay. So Mikal
That's right,
Bridges.
It's where the Knicks play less, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so who would you look to move in a dynasty league?
I can tell you.
I would say, I mean, of the three of those guys, I would assume that Hart is the lowest in your dynasty rankings.
Indeed, you would be correct there, with OG being the highest. Mm-hmm. Just a quick look at other. I'm pretty sure everyone has OG ranked higher than Mikal Bridges, though it's pretty close.
Yeah.
So if you're just looking to trade the worst one, it'd be Josh Hart. If you're looking to get the most value back, you'd probably be trying to trade OG or Mikal Bridges. But that's how I rank them and have them ranked, is OG, Mikal, Josh Hart.
Okay. Max Christie is the best pickup on the waiver wire right now and can finish top 100 rest of season. Tell me I am wrong. Thunder Dan. Is Thunder Dan wrong? Can Max Christie be a top 100 player? I'm going to say I don't think so.
If he wants me to tell him he's wrong, I'll do it. I don't think he's definitely wrong, but if he wants me to say it, I will.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not convinced he can be top 100. I think he could be. I mean, anyone could be, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure he will be. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Melton or Pippen Jr. rest of season? I mean, I might just go Melton because he's playing. I have no idea when Pippen's back and how much he'll play.
Yeah. I like that logic.
I think I'll go Melton. What is Oubre's role when he returns, and is he an ad? Let's say his role is not what it was last season, because the Sixers are actually decent this year. Is he an ad? Speculative, maybe. I'm not convinced he'll be a must roster player, though. again, assuming that the 76ers can stay healthy, he'll be more of a stream level guy, I think, for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he was good beginning of the season when not everyone was healthy, and now that everyone's pretty healthy, he's probably a reserve. So I don't think he's an ad.
I need to cut two of these guys. 18 points league. Zubats, Alexander Walker, Queen, Garland, Nemhard, Paul George. 18 points league. It might be. Oh, that's a hard one. I don't think it'd be Garland. I don't think it would be Queen. Paul George is sort of jumping off the page to me. I know he's been pretty good. Zubats in a points league. I don't know. Are there two clear names here for you?
Clear, no. I feel like in an 8-team league, though, you're probably gonna have to cut someone that feels weird saying you're gonna cut them. Off the top of my head, I want to say Nimhard and Paul George, but don't feel great.
Yeah. I think they're all in a similar range. So maybe the answer is position, like what positions do you need to fill? And in an 8-team league, most of these guys will be replaceable by streaming. So like none of these guys are going to be top 40 players that you sort of have to hold on to. So I think, just have a look at positions, schedule, that sort of thing. Thoughts on Norman Powell rest of season? Hero coming back tonight. Oh, I mean, he'll still be a must roster player, but yes, he has been, as I said earlier, he's been playing above himself while Hero's back. So the sell high opportunity is right now, and after tonight it could be gone. But I'm fine holding on to Norm Powell.
It's crazy because I mean, Hero's just barely been available this season, because I was just like looking up Norm Powell with Tyler Hero. They've only played 4 games together.
Yeah, it's not.
He had an 11-point game, a 28-point game, a 30-point game, and a 21-point game, averaging 16 shot attempts per game. So like he's still going to be a high priority option on offense, but probably a slight hit with Hero back, but maybe not this dramatic one. So,
all right, let's fly through a few of these. Would we trade Jokic for Wemby straight up? Sure. I don't. If you want to, like, it's fine. They're close enough. Obviously, Jokic is out for another couple of weeks. Wemby's potentially back tonight, so you might get an extra 2 weeks out of Wemby. So, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think if you're really worried about making that top 6 for the playoffs and you can't afford to go a few more weeks without Jokic, then yeah, so that makes sense.
Traded Anthony Black for Drew Holiday when Suggs returned last week. Felt great. Should I still be feeling great? So Anthony Black for Drew Holiday. I mean, if Drew comes back, I think that's probably the right move. I'd be feeling okay about that.
I don't love it, but I just really much like what Anthony Black has done this season. Even when Jalen Suggs has been out, because Franz Wagner is still out, and that's allowed Anthony Black to start. So I don't think like anything changes at this point, but I mean, who do you think is going to be back first, Drew Holiday or Franz Wagner? We have no way of knowing.
No,
there hasn't been much clarity for either, so that's going to be a big factor there. So I don't think you should feel bad.
Is Micah Potter an ad in a 12-team league? Look, I've picked him up in a couple of leagues, if that helps. I'm not convinced that this is going to stick because the Pacers have already run with 3 or 4 different starting centers. So for now, I think you can add him. He's playing decent minutes. Huff hasn't been very good, but in 2 weeks this could flip, and Michael Potter could be out of the rotation.
And if I'm not mistaken, Michael Potter's still on a 10-day, or am I making that up?
I don't think
Can't
he's
remember.
on a 10-day. I think he might be. I don't know if he's on a 2-way. I know he was only recently signed, but I don't think
it was
10-day.
2-way. I'm thinking of non-guaranteed deal, but that was day after Christmas.
That was when he was signed. I knew it was around Christmas, so maybe it's just a let's sort of see how you go.
Yeah, let me see if I can. While I'm looking that up, I'm not dying to roster any Pacers center. So like you can stream him like because he's starting and there's some value there. Yeah, it looks like so non-guaranteed. Trying to see if there's okay. It becomes fully guaranteed on. Okay, so here's the thing: it becomes fully guaranteed on January 10th. They just released Tony Bradley the day before his contract became fully guaranteed. So I don't not saying that's definitely going to happen here, but there's definitely a possibility that January 9th they say, "Thank you for your service, Micah Potter. We're on to the next free agent center."
Yeah. Okay. So yes, look, pick him up and see what happens, but he could be, as you've said, he could just be a drop in 3 days. So, all right, what else have we got? I'll hold Keyshawn. I'll answer this one really quickly. In the 4 punt center build, yep, I'm holding Keyshawn in all of my leagues, so I'm okay with doing that. Should I trade DeRozan for Knipple?
Yeah, I'd much rather have Khan.
Yeah, I think so. Would I trade Bam or Sarr for Amen Thompson?
Yes. I want to say more confident in Bam and pretty confident in Sarr. Just you'd be really buying low on Amen, and I think he's starting to figure things out. So
yeah, he's Amen's top 20 over the last week. Yeah, I think I'd potentially move Sarr. I know Sarr's been really good, but playing for Washington, that worries me. Playing for any of these teams, so yes, I would be okay doing that. No, don't trade Keyshawn because of the Trae Young news. I wouldn't be doing anything there. And it's I need to take my scooter in for a service now. So let's do one more. Yeah, that's 2. Okay, let's finish with an Embiid question. Any world where we get good value for Embiid, or do I just hold and pray? Depends on the managers in your league. Someone might, I suppose. It wouldn't be me if I was in your league, but yeah, look, there could be someone. I'd be fine if you could get a top 50 player for Embiid. I would do that. You're not going to get anything better than that, I don't think. Look, Embiid has been good, but he doesn't play defense anymore. He's basically points and rebounds. He's good, very good from the free throw line for a center, so that's an added bonus. But he's not the player he was. He's not the top 5, top 10 player. I have no idea. How good has he been?
He's been really picking it up recently, and the minutes have been going up too. Like he just played 40 minutes yesterday in that overtime game, which is season high for him. So agreed, he's not really getting the defensive production like he used to, but he's starting to be closer to what he was. So you could look at that as let me trade him now if someone's interested, but also like I don't hate the idea of holding on to him, and obviously, yes, praying that he stays healthy.
Yeah, I mean, his minutes in he's played 4 games in a row, 38 minutes, 35, 33, 40. That's really good. It's encouraging, but it also scares the hell out of me that that he's there. I honestly, I did not think they would push him this hard at all. It is good. Like, it does mean that obviously he's feeling pretty good, but to me, it just gives there's more opportunity for him to get re-injured with the more minutes he plays. So it's a double-edged sword, I think. So yeah, if you can get a top 50 player for him, I would do it. If people are just the best they're giving you is top 80, then just hold him and see what happens, because hopefully you didn't invest too high a draft pick in him, so you're not really losing out. All right. We're going to get out of here. Sorry we couldn't get to all of the questions. There were a lot, as always. Recommend jumping in early because we can get to those early questions. What's coming up, Noah? I know you had an episode of Young Man Squad a few days ago.
Yep. So I had that one where I talked about my dynasty rankings. I actually just recorded one this morning with Zach from Dizzle Dynasty and Brian, who also writes for Dizzle Dynasty. And we talked about a couple guys that Zach and I are a little bit far apart on rankings. Talked about the Trae Young trade, talked about 2026 class. I'm having Rhett on tomorrow, and then a different episode with Matt Lawson on. We're recording both those tomorrow, so those will be out later this week. So a few fun episodes this week. Typical Roto World stuff. I tweet out a good bit of my content. So at NoRuben22, you can give me a follow and find a lot of it there.
Yep. Follow me as well at AdamKing91. I know Dan has pumped out the trade deadline show, which is happening in roughly 4 weeks. It's probably almost 4 weeks from today, isn't it? It's something like
it's usually on a Thursday. So
Thursday,
almost.
so it's probably almost 4 weeks. So looking forward to that. I know we've got some guests lined up. He's hoping for 1,000 likes before the show starts. So just check out my Twitter or Dan's, and you'll find the link to go and give that one a thumbs up. Keep him happy. He's happy. When he's happy, I'm happy, and Noah's happy. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back next week, probably, and I'll have all my regular content over the weekend. And time to get out of here. Go and enjoy some basketball. He's Noah Rubin. I'm Adam King. This has been Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast. We are done.
What's going on inside where the monsters like to come alive?